Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Ocean's 13, the final film in the Steven Soderbergh Ocean's films, Ocean's 13 films, I guess you could call it. Yeah, Steven Soderbergh. I enjoyed this film better than Ocean's 12. Definitely enjoyed it better. There was some fun heist moments in this. The crew actually has things to do. The one thing I didn't necessarily enjoy about this particular film is there is a lot of this movie, not a lot of it, but a big chunk of this movie is just Brad Pitt and George Clooney talking to Eddie Izzard and then cutting to, like, telling Eddie Izzard the entire plan, and as the plan goes, you're seeing it happen, which I appreciate. I mean, that's similar to the first film. In some ways, the second film does some of that, but this one, very similar to the first one. I just didn't think it worked as well. It was boring. It's like they're walking around a hotel room and they're just talking to Eddie Izzard, telling him the plan of, like, all the things, and then everything's going back. But I enjoyed the whole premise of the movie, let's say. In this film, we have Reuben, who's kind of the planner guy, the guy who brings them the jobs. I guess he was, I don't know if you like the coordinator guy, the man. He is in a deal to be part of a new casino that's being built in Vegas. And one of his partners is this guy, Willy Bank, who's played by Al Pacino, who is very much, that character, Willy Bank, is very much like a Donald Trump type. Because as the deal gets finalized to get this new hotel, new casino built, which Reuben helped make happen with his connections, he completely gets blindsided and cut out of the deal. Right? It's the thing that Trump does with everything, where he just, like, he backstabs everybody, he backs out of deals, he doesn't pay people, he sues people, he lets people take him, like, he's like the most dishonest businessman. And also, Trump specifically, one of the biggest failures in business. I don't think he's ever had a successful business in his entire life, or successful anything for that matter. But very much those kind of attributes are part of Willy Bank, this Al Pacino character, which I appreciate. I appreciate that being a villain, especially now. I mean, when this movie came out, it was 2011, 2007. So way before, 9 years before, 8 years before, the worthless mound of human flesh known as Trump got into politics, before he really infected the American population with his bullshit. So at the time, probably didn't appreciate it or even realize. And I don't know if that's specifically the character specifically modeled after Trump, but I could see tons of similarities. Very egotistical, very not. I mean, I guess Willy Bank is, I guess, far more successful than Trump is. But Willy Bank, big micromanager, which the level at which he micromanages throughout this entire movie, very unrealistic for somebody who's actually built stuff. But I could actually also see somebody whose team is really doing most of the work, and then he kind of goes in and just makes all of their jobs harder. I could see that aspect of it. So Reuben gets screwed on this deal. So Reuben has a heart attack, and then Danny Ocean brings the crew together because they're like, okay, we got to get revenge. This is a revenge heist. Right? So the first one, kind of a revenge heist. Not really. The first one was like a double whammy. Like, he wanted to steal from all these casinos to kind of get back at his ex-wife's new boyfriend, but then also win his ex-wife back. So it's kind of the double whammy there. This one has a similar double whammy that comes into it, but a lot of this is like the way that they're going to win, the way that they're going to pull off this heist, and they want to basically ruin this hotel, this casino when it opens, is that they want to rig all the games. They want to like bankrupt this casino on opening day, which is great. But then it requires them to like go back. Like two of the characters go. Casey Affleck goes to a factory in Mexico that makes the dice or whatever, or they make the little balls for the roulette. But they like go through and talk about all these different ways they're going to rig all of the games, which I appreciated because it's different. It's not just them trying to get into a bank vault and steal money. It's like, how are we going to rig all of the games of a casino? And then like fleshing that out into a story, super interesting. Despite the fact that there's like future tech, which I don't really like. Like this movie starts with Brad Pitt on another job using this like future tech that like can scan the door of a vault that shows all the internal gears, like just really future, like Mission Impossible type tech, which I don't like that. I don't need that in these movies, despite the fact that they kind of throw that, they sprinkle it in here and there. I wish they didn't, but at the same time, rigging all the games, like there's gonna be a level of unbelievability with everything, but for the most part, it doesn't do that. So the future tech aspect of it and the fact that there's this huge exposition dump where they're explaining all these things. Meanwhile, like it should have just been more voiceover, like less cutting to them in this hotel room talking to Eddie Izzard, and just more of them voiceover of the conversation as things are happening. I would have appreciated that more. But aside from that, I really enjoyed it. And aside from the constant micromanaging that Bank does throughout his hotel as it's opening. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. There's this, not only are they trying to rig all of the games for people to like just drain this casino from money, but they're also trying to sabotage this secret shopper type of a guy that goes in that's going to give them a ranking. Give this hotel a ranking, like a 5-diamond hotel experience. But how they do that, I mean, just his experience in general, being this like, it's supposed to be this luxury experience, is kind of unbelievable. The level of and lack of customer service that would happen to any guest. I would imagine when you're staying at a 5-diamond hotel, right, that only people with boatloads of money would even consider staying at, get treated to the best quality customer service ever known to man. Yet so much of the customer service of this hotel seems like it could work at a motel. Like it is very bottom barrel, like how they would act, and a little bit like it feels like it was written for normal people, whereas the premise, if anybody had actual money, would know that like most of that stuff would never even get close to happening. Like a bed having bed bugs, or like just certain things, just certain ways that they sabotage this guy. But it's still fun to watch, despite the fact like you get over that hump and it's like, oh, this is a lot of fun to watch. The Many Faces is an ongoing abstract ink portrait series that I started many years ago. I release a new face every day, but go to inspireddisorder.com to check them out. So many available. But as a listener to The Ray Taylor Show, you can save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out. So go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF, that stands for The Many Faces. Go check them out, browse the entire collection, and when you decide on a piece, or maybe multiple pieces,
Make sure you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out, and you'll save 10%. As a big thank you for checking out my work, for collecting my work, and for listening to The Ray Taylor Show. And with that said, let's get back to the show.
And also, you don't like Bank, so it's enjoyable to see like this thing kind of fall apart, which I appreciate. There's an aspect to it where they need to simulate an earthquake. Like there's certain parts where it just goes a little bit too far into the unbelievable. Like, so they want this earthquake thing as like a diversion, right? There's this new security system, this AI security system, which isn't really AI security system. It's just like, it's still being interpreted. What the security system is monitoring is checking to see if people are authentic when they win. Like this AI security system's able to gauge people's like pupil dilation, sweat. Like it's almost like everybody inside the casino is hooked up to a lie detector test. Like those are all the metrics that this AI security system is measuring, is monitoring for all the guests. But it's still a person who is translating those metrics. So it's like it could just be an AI security system that's like just tells you when somebody's lying, but they have to have a character there that's like watching the security system, like, oh, it's authentic. You can tell because the heart rate is authentic and the pupil dilation and the actions are. It's like, but why wouldn't the AI thing tell you that? Why do we need a human being to? Anyway, it's just like it's like a movie that's written to be smart, but not smart. Like if I can poke holes in it, it's not that smart. But it's really trying to be smart. It's like somebody bullshitting, like trying to sound smart, bullshitting an answer, but like if anybody knows even the slightest bit about the topic that they're bullshitting about, could see right through it. It's kind of like that. But you still get over it. But they need this earthquake thing that's going to reboot the system, which for some reason, this new high-tech AI thing takes 3 minutes and some amount of seconds to reboot. Like the longest reboot, I guess, in history. But that's like the premise. Like, oh, they need to reboot the system, and that's the only way that they get around it. And by how they're going to reboot the system is to cause like this fake earthquake to happen. And they're going to do that by getting this giant drill and have the drill kind of, try and drill up against the foundation of this hotel. And before that, they have Brad Pitt go in, pretending to be like this geologist guy that's like, there's this earthquake that's going to happen, and here's the seismology thing that you got to keep in your office. Don't you dare, because there's a camera in it. Like, there's certain things that happen that are like, okay. Like, there's a lot of parts of this movie where you have to, like, let go of the fact that it's not the most intelligently written film. Still fun. But then they come into some trouble because the drill breaks down and they don't have the money, so they have to get another investor. So bada bing, bada boop, we got ourselves Terry Benedict, the one and only Terry Benedict from the first, actually he's in both of the first two films, is back. He's going to, because he doesn't like him, Bank is competition for Terry Benedict's 3 casinos, so he doesn't like him either. And he wants to embarrass him. What he wants is for them to, if they're going to do that, if he's going to invest in buying this drill, this one other drill that's going to allow them to create this fake earthquake, he wants the Ocean's crew to steal these diamond necklaces that represent the 5 diamonds for each of the hotels that he has around the world. That is like this. It's like his trophy room, basically, these necklaces. And that's something that the crew already talked about and already just they said that there's no way we could do it because you got to get in there and do this thing. But they need the money, so they're going to figure it out, obviously. They're going to figure out a way to get those jewels out of there. And Benedict says he doesn't want the jewels. He just wants, they can do whatever they want with the jewels, but he just wants them to be gone because he wants the embarrassment of whatever. He wants Bank to be embarrassed for losing his prized possessions. Because he knows, and Ocean know, the soft points of Bank. They know what he really cares about, and they know how to really hurt him. So they get this new thing. There's a part of the plan is like I said, one of the Mormon guys, Casey Affleck, is at a factory in Mexico, and during the time where he's there, which I don't believe was part of the plan, he starts this rebellion. He starts this union, this workers union to get better pay and better benefits for the people that work there. Which is a complete side story to everything, but still I appreciated it. As far as the aspects of this movie that go beyond the scope of reality, to see somebody go and start this kind of a that's actually kind of believable, I would say. Because that happens all the time. I mean, we're seeing it now all over the place where people are going on strike because in America. So to see something like that happen in Mexico at a factory that makes dice or whatever completely makes sense. But also ends up getting ironed out like everything else gets ironed out. But how everything works, unlike the last movie where so much of the movie was them failing, quote unquote, but not really failing, all of their failures in the last one were part of the plan. This one is you're actually, as an audience, seeing what the plan is for the most part. There are still some head fakes and some things that happen, but for the most part, it's really great. Another way in which Willy Blank is like Donald Trump is racism. There is a big group of Asian dudes with a lot of money that came to Vegas to gamble, and Danny Ocean convinces them to go to another casino or whatever, and in an effort to get those high rollers back in Bank's casino, he offers to give them, or they ask, the reason why they will come back is to get the villas. So what would a racist hotel casino owner do to please a bunch of Asian men is to get them the specifically Asian designed villas, villas that are for Asian people. They're segregated. There's different villas for different races of people. At least that's what it seemed like was happening in this movie, which Donald Trump openly racist for his whole family. Racism and Donald Trump go together like stink on shit. It's just one and the same. So for Bank to have that aspect of Trump was kind of a funny little detail. It's they're specifically clearing out the Asian villas for these high rollers that they want to kind of woo back into his place. Join Inspired Disorder Plus today. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus to join. Membership includes members-only discounts and deals. You get access to the Ray Taylor Show completely ad-free, as well as bonus episodes. You get access to the complete live painting archive. You also get access to every single podcast ever produced by Inspired Disorder, hosted by Ray Taylor. You get access to Ray Taylor's personal blog, as well as the opportunity to ask me any questions. So if you want to start a podcast, you're into art, ask me anything. And so many more things are being added every day to Inspired Disorder Plus. So sign up today, become a member, head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member. today. Then there's this, like, I guess there's more than a few things that I had issues with, despite the fact that I like this movie. But there's this scene where Matt Damon's character, Linus, has to woo the assistant for Bank in order to get access to where the jewels are. And it's, it's another type of kind of made up future tech type of a thing, but it's like a pheromone type of a thing where he puts this, like, dips this little swatch into some liquid and then dabs it on his neck. And then it's got this smelly smell. It's like the Pepe Le Pew effect, where it's like the assistant just instantly falls in love with Matt Damon's character, Linus, like just endlessly passionate, and will do what, like, mindless, like completely has no thought of her own anymore because of the pheromones that are being put out by Matt Damon. It's like, okay, I guess there's this like super powerful pheromone thing that they have access to that just allows them to mind control people for the purpose of getting access to the room. And that's like, that was the difficult thing. That was the reason why they couldn't get in there. It's like they clearly knew about the super pheromone mind control stuff. So that was like, okay, Pepe Le Pew, mind control, whatever. All right. Didn't really buy it, but okay, I'm going along with you, movie. Like, I know you want to be smart. You really think you're fooling people, but I'm not that smart, and I'm seeing the Swiss cheese of believability in this whole thing. But of course, with the jewels, the whole thing, Terry Benedict didn't want the jewels, but the Night Fox shows up. But he gets, it's a very small, it's like a cameo, really, which is nice. He didn't have to breakdance through any laser hallways, thankfully. He just failed. He thought he stole the diamonds from Matt Damon, and does a nice little base jump off the top of the hotel. Meanwhile, they blew up the room where the jewels were and just had a helicopter fly it away. But as everything came together, like all of the people, like there's a scene that's like the camera's like panning through all the people in the casino, and you're seeing like little numbers floating about how much they've all won, and it just keeps going up and up and up. Where like everybody is winning because the dice are loaded, the roulette tables are loaded, all the card shuffling machines are rigged. Like everything's rigged. They successfully rigged all of the games, all of the slot machines. Like there's a certain like sequence where you put the coins in. If you put the coins into the certain sequence, it can automatically trigger a win. And the way they do it to make it trick the AI is that, like, there's a scene where Brad Pitt's putting the coins into one of the slot machines, and then he just leaves a coin right on top of the slot and tells this lady, he's like, hey, that one's been paying out good. And she wins it. And so it's an authentic win as a distraction. So I enjoyed, like, there's aspects of it where it really tried to bring back that magic of the first Ocean's 11. Like a really interesting way to steal from a casino. And it's not like they were necessarily walking away with the money. Everybody that just happened to be at that casino are going to be walking away with the money. And now they'll have the jewels as well. So I enjoyed it. Overall, I enjoyed it. There's even a couple scenes with Oprah. Like there's scenes where Danny Ocean and Rusty, is that his name? Is that Brad Pitt's character's name? Yeah, Rusty and Danny are in the hotel room, and Danny was crying, and Rusty's like, wait, are you crying? And Oprah's on the TV, and she's giving away, like, she gave away this house, like some custom house for some people, this big family. And just like this emotional moment of these two guys crying together. And then you see at the end where like they succeeded, right? The Ocean's crew, again, they succeeded. They completely ruined Bank. And as another way to pay back Terry Benedict, they donated his share, the money that he was going to get for, funding, getting that drill for them, and whatever the jewels cost or whatever. They donated that to a charity and then got him booked on Oprah. So one of the last scenes was Terry Benedict on the Oprah show, talking about how he was so passionate about donating all this money to foster kids because he just saw foster kids and it broke his heart, and how could he not once you see that. So in a way, like, Benedict gets the positive publicity for it, but doesn't get the money. So they not only had their cake, they ate it too, and then they were able to do like 5 more things. Like, it wrapped up a lot of different things, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed, like, every aspect. I mean, there's definitely parts of it that were problems. The whole exposition stuff, the Pepe Le Pew thing, the fact that they even like helped out the secret shopper guy that like got completely chewed up and spit out by this hotel experience. Like, they rigged up a slot machine at the airport for him while he was waiting standby. So he ended up winning in the end too. So it's like a very happy ending for everybody involved. At no point do we see Tess in this movie. Julia Roberts is nowhere to be found in this movie, which is fine. Everybody else seems to have come back. They traded out Julia Roberts for Al Pacino. But yeah, I thought it was good. Despite some drawbacks, I thought it was interesting. The revenge heist, rigging all the games was a lot of fun. Kind of doing multiple things at once is always fun. But yeah, Ocean's 13, I had a lot of fun watching it, and I will be doing my top 5. I will be ranking my Ocean's movies, all 5 of them, on Sunday. So check that out to see where it stacks up with the rest of the franchise, with the rest of the movies. But yeah, check it out. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more this time around than I did the first time around, but it not as good as the first one, but still, I would say one of the best, one of the better Ocean's movies for sure. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.